And it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists.
What he's alleging is true. She sounds like an absolute nightmare.
This woman, this mad hatter who no sane man would go near with a 10-foot barge pole, it is so offensive and so ridiculous.
Morgan Piers just reminded Blake lively of the precise location. She bulldozed right, and her limits are beyond them in blatant hypocrisy. He accused her of being a career eater. She is a true monster who pursues what she pulled on Justin Baldwin.
Tried to take over and hijack the movie, and when she didn't get her way, she brought her much richer, more successful and powerful husband in to lay down the law.
And she is suddenly acting like a helpless victim. However, we can observe that she is acting. Skills are terrible.
Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Morgan began by mentioning that Blake and Ryan, the most eccentric pair on the internet, are not merely cautiously handled. Nay, they are full-scale psychological combat. Experts concealed behind humorous hashtags and picture opportunities with filters. He actually referred to their picture as a PR power couple. Hallucination that isn't refined or curated. The hallucination itself is genuine, and everyone has been tricked.
Baldoni, by the sounds of things, got completely shafted in this one, so if all of this is true, he's 100% justified in suing her.
Additionally, buckle up, Morgan disclosed that each humorous conversation between the two, the zingers, are making fun of the couple's objectives. Instagram banter is more than simply practiced. It was ghost-ridden by compensated comedians. Indeed, those well-liked birthday posts were. According to Ryan, Blake either forgot his name or she removes him from a picture.
Which they don't even realize. I truly don't think they realize how reviled they are. I don't think they realize they're losing.
That is PR, not relationship spice. Approach that has a 48-hour turnaround time, and several drafts are literally part of their job. To act as though they're amusing. Piers even cited a former employee who stated, "You're not even allowed to say what cereal they eat without permission from the law." Imagine the Cheerios you're pouring, and when someone is sued, that's the level of control that we're facing.
If they did something that no litigious celebrity has ever done, which is come out and be like, we made a mistake. Suing someone is a nightmare. It's stressful, it's expensive, it's a life ruiner. And you know what, dude? Even if we're right, it's not worth it.
And we must not overlook the finest. Piers publicly acknowledged that he used to be sympathetic to Blake and the entire Baldoni used to be a disaster, but after reading all of the messages, and now he refers to her and Ryan as weapons grade. I don't want to imply that manipulators. A nuclear strike, that is.
If even only half of what he's saying is true, Blake Lively is a complete nightmare.
And the king of blunt force, Piers Morgan. Sincerity indicates that you're manipulating more, rather than a villain with a brand on reality TV. When a deal is at stake, the game is done. Remember that these weren't merely communications between interns or assistants. These were correspondence between Ryan and Blake, themselves specifically managing their own image all the way down to the final word.
It seems insurmountable. It seems like this case cannot be settled.
What do you do then? As soon as your mask begins to break and the public at last recognizes the performing flawlessly, if you're Blake, you enter a Connecticut in a panic, having your hair down at a donut shop, feigning chastity. That's correct. Let's examine the donut scandal, also known as the most tragically hilarious publicity stunt. Blake appeared behind the counter of an establishment neighborhood store as if she were the hero of the iconic film Baking with Genius Food. Friends she shared with all the phony happiness of someone making an excessive effort to appear grounded, but the real deal is that she didn't even have on a hairpiece.
She actually surprised people just at a random bakery. When she went behind the counter at a Connecticut donut shop, she was really in a happy mood. The actress made a stop at the pastry stop on March 30th amidst her ongoing battle. Now, it's just really weird about it.
Now, for any, that's merely disgusting for a normal human, but for someone who requires a button to blink, release its idiocy at the scandal level. Numerous grievances were sent to the Wilton Health Department due to unexpectedly allowing your gorgeous hair to fly into a glazed twist is a health code for someone. Infringement in accordance with the FDA Food Code. Workers who handle food are required to wear hair. Limitations to prevent contamination. Food Safety 100, and one isn't that complicated yet. Blake is shown here portraying a small-town girl and damaging a company's standing in the procedure.
Blake Lively is getting desperate in new legal filings along with her hair care line.
Oh, it was delicious, as did the fallout. Yelp was inundated with unfavorable reviews. Actually, so many that the website had to turn off the page for a while. Consider that this was not a group of fans. Rather, it was a pushback in public health, although, of course, Blake's group had the audacity to twist it into an apparent campaign of revenge. The individuals who complained were never even been to the store, correct?
Since the true issue isn't the
unhygienic celebrity posing as a pastry chef. The peasants were the ones who dared to point it out. Give me a rest.
Because I don't trust you, Blake. I do not trust you. You have lied too much. You have fudged truths. You are trying to hide so much information that you are like your character in a simple favor, and I can't unsee it.
And this is brutally clear. Was merely an additional last-ditch effort to humanize her in the midst of the legal action. Wasn't about supporting a nearby company. Was about creating an adorable Instagram account. Moment to conceal the news stories she didn't. Unfortunately, it exploded in her face. More difficult than her Betty Buzz prices. Backlash, she attempted to provide kind and sweet, but was ultimately deep-fried by, instead, health inspectors.
She was trying to take charge of a situation. You could put the period there. She was not
you could view it with either lens.
Let's move on to the icing on the cake. Sunday, the Henry Golding hypocrisy debacle, or should we refer to it as such? On camera, Blake Lively is seen grabbing someone. As well as boasting about it, I'm not. Overstating in an interview conducted in 2018 regarding a straightforward favor that Blake freely admitted to, creating a scene on the spot where she grabs. Well, Henry Golding's unique area only. Went for it without notice, based only on feelings. She claimed that it was something she character would use the internet rapidly. Told her that in the event that the positions were, this would have resulted in a funeral for a career.
Not Blake Lively confessing to grabbing her co-star's nuts because she felt like that's just what her character would do.
Wait, so am I blaming my husband? Am I saying something about her?
This is one of my favorite additions that you came up with.
Let's not mince words. She acknowledged touching a co-star without a written cue beforehand. And then, Paul, the director, chuckled about it, rather than stating, well, that's troublesome. Essentially order her to leave. More difficult.
You kept going, you do it harder.
Yeah, and that was my tip of the hat to Baby Jane Hudson.
Yes. Oh.
Spinning on the beach at the end.
Oh, it's so great.
And
the same Blake is currently suing Justin Baldwin for reportedly making things up as they went along. She disapproved of the way that storyline twist, therefore it's okay when Blake but when another person inhales, it's a lawsuit, creatively, and the hypocrisy is more substantial than her glaze. Infected donuts.
There's also an old interview that has resurfaced that is causing a lot of people to call her a hypocrite now.
Henry, let's be clear. Golding was sophisticated and diplomatic. According to interviews, everything was predetermined and ignored the situation, but we all know what. Actually, he left the door open. Yes, for a little improvisation, but that's not equivalent to being surprisingly manipulated the scene in the middle while the cameras are rolling, as evidenced by the video of his suffering and her joy. Wasn't about the character. Rather, it concerned dominance, control, and being aware that she could get away with.
Blake Lively was spotted this weekend in her happy place, which apparently is also when she grabs her co-stars without permission.
Blake. This past weekend, Lively was seen in her joyful location, which is reportedly also her grabbing of her co-stars without permission.
Yeah, when you really went for it.
That's always awkward. You're like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your neck? It's like really hard.
But really hard?
Not because I want to, because I feel like she would.
Remember we kept going like,
Blake is exposed by Piers Morgan, and Ryan as con artists operating a military base. PR campaign on Instagram. Their marriage was dictated by their interactions. Marketed, after which Blake looks relatable through breaking into a donut shop, just to cause a health department to research, and if that doesn't, she's still out here to divert people, defending herself in court while I forgot that she used to brag about taking her co-star's belongings as if they were a typical day in Hollywood for feminists.
Because I can imagine how many people in the past have been victim to the kind of stunts that Blake Lively and her husband have pulled, now apparently in conjunction with Taylor Swift, who has oddly decided to distance herself from the couple, which is an interesting development.
Makes sense? Actually, it doesn't matter. You can't, as this isn't simply hypocrisy, its illusion was accompanied with a side of a huge ego and a cinnamon swirl. And for those who still believe Blake is this unfortunate victim simply goes back in time. Watch her chuckle as she grabs recordings. Henry, take a look at the health infraction. Piers reveal the receipts in the fallout are all present, and we're just receiving.
Began.
And then she has the audacity to call her husband and Taylor Swift her dragons, and that Justin Baldoni and the producer tried to sexually harass.
Let's discuss the notorious Green Lantern deception first, because it's more than just a crack in the timeline. There is a complete breakdown in Blake's space-time continuum and Ryan's whole brand based on their sugar-coated account of what happened between Blake and following the separation. Ryan began dating from the wholesome Scarlett Johansson. Sincere but phony Piers Morgan arrived, swinging with timelines for receipts and real people who were present, and it's just amusing to see the origin tale of this iconic couple disintegrate like a badly written CW storyline.
Ryan Reynolds realizes he's too big to fail. He just crushes his enemies and drinks their blood. Oh, we gotta talk about this.
Making a movie for Green Lantern was held between March and August. Scarlett and Ryan remained together in 2010. Up to December 2010. I'll perform the calculations for you since Blake can't, evidently. It's a form-on. Minimal overlap, but hold on, things will improve. Blake and Ryan, two crew members, claim, weren't only flirtatious on stage. Shining you post-tra glow. You know, we just done something mischievous, but we're feigning its art. Kind of shine employees actually stated that they were vanishing in between takes and returning with the appearance of having just found electricity without the help of companions, co-workers.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence, in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony.
Certainly not. Awaiting the divorce's conclusion, and if you continue to believe the falsehood that nothing occurred until it was, as appropriate, let me present to you the text message that Morgan recovered from July 2010, where Blake states unequivocally, "I can't stop considering he and I must be cautious, girl, if you're messaging about needing to exercise caution. And guess what? You're carrying out an essential task. Concealed, that's public relations, not romance. Criminal activity."
Her testimony won't even count. And that is a very, that's a harsh reality, because if the jury chooses not to listen to anything she has to say, she's the best witness in this case.
Additionally, because one lie is insufficient for the PR gods, she worships Blake's group, went above and above. They spent a mile to get rid of the rap party. Images that are in circulation, that's correct. Oh, let's remove some Instagram accounts. Tags no, we're discussing legal issues. Risks of monetary rewards and full-scale suppression of any image that demonstrated Ryan and Blake were already together, while he remained legally wed. It's image laundering, not love.
And it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists.
However, why Give up lying about your relationship. When may you bring your defenseless kids along? Blake, enter your carnival of control. And Ryan's most repulsive strategy to date. Using their children as weapons for publicity, they walk around behaving as though these gold standards. Celebrity parents do to the fact that they don't upload pictures of their children online.
It's the more, I think, stain on all your gruesome houses. The publicists involved, the actors involved, everybody involved seems to be absolutely horrible.
They say privacy. Limits they assert, but what they really do is take advantage of those same children. When their reputations begin to deteriorate, consider Betty Buzz as an example. Recall that expensive influencer brand of thirsty drinks that was pulled in 2022 for charging exorbitant prices for carbonated. What did Blake do to apologize? Water? On Live, she shared a sweet little tale with Ryan and Kelly regarding her daughter, referring to sparkling water as spicy water. And similarly, Google looks for the controversy fell 74% in a day. No magic. Oh, and she never did any marketing. No, she has an entire system in place during the 2020 Red Notice filming controversy when Ryan was ridiculed for filming in Italy. What unexpectedly occurs during pandemic lockdowns? A post about his daughter appeared, uttering phrases incorrectly. Cue the OSQ. The divertisements cause the headlines to change. Why are you taking a flight during a? Ryan is such a fantastic father to pandemic.
She filed a fake Me Too and got caught. Okay? Caught. A fake Me Too and got caught.
The worst part is that their previous nanny revealed the information, stating that they simply a list of adorable moments for this precise objective they record there. The sweet words and innocent expressions of children, such as their filing away crisis management content. Can you picture when a toddler says something goofy instead of taking in the present as if it were normal? Your mother says to you, "Oh, we'll keep that for when the TMZ begins to snoop around."
This is an actress that was hired to be in the film, and yet she's asking the director, who's also her lead, for the cuts and the edits, and she's decided to take over the wardrobe, and she gets to choose her wardrobe and they pay for it. That's unprecedented. No one's ever heard of that.
And people fell for that, because the children's faces are not posted, so they appear to be doing responsibly, yet according to analyst Jeremy Park, they don't post faces, they share stories, and they've made raising children into a smokescreen. It's marketing masquerading as ethics. Every outburst, every illustration, every incorrectly uttered term, which is all a component of a playbook, and that's not what parents do. Exploitation under improved illumination, and if you felt that Blake's actions were inappropriate wait until you see her on set home. Let's discuss how it ends with us. Like to think that everything comes to an end when Blake says, considering that this woman become a total autocrat mode in the background attempting to take over. The full film from the Real. Justin Baldoni, director.
And that Justin Baldoni and the producer tried to sexually harass this woman, this Mad Hatter, who no sane man would go near with a 10-foot barge pole. It is so offensive and so ridiculous. I mean, I urge everyone to just read through everything that Justin Baldoni
it is utterly...
She wasn't merely making suggestions, no. No, she was making requests regarding the camera, aspects that illuminate the performances of other actors, their lines, and most likely what craft. Thursdays should be the day for services. Lacked a production and a director credit. Control, but she still behaved like Spielberg. Even so, she rushed off set wearing a headpiece when her demands weren't met. And this is. In only a few minutes, studio executives were phoning Justin to inquire about his choices. Are you aware of the amount of tweaking required to turn your famous status so completely that studio executives begin to question the real? When you answered the phone, director, and sulked. If you're curious, what? She considers Justin's imaginative idea. Morgan's staff received the emails, so don't worry.
Anyway, the point is she's now advertising and has all these people showing off her Blake Brown hair care products, where she talks about, oh, that's a anyway.
Blake purportedly wrote to a producer, I am aware of what viewers desire more than he. Oh, that's the same Blake who does. Considered adding Harrods and donuts too. The sentence was too complex. The same Blake who threw a glittering, a water brand that is facing legal action. That Blake is aware of our desires.
Baking with genius good friends and their kitchen mixer the size of a car. This is what my happy place. She plays like the Yoshi Super Mario World.
But hold on, there's more of her. Refused to just bulldoze her way through. She set up the entire hidden production. Communication chains that are kept apart. Consultations with the editor, the cinematographer, as well as additional departments. Heads inside her trailer, but she declined to attend discussions with the team if Justin was. Let me reiterate that she declined to share a room with the movie's director. That isn't cooperation, a rebellion.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss.
Additionally, the set crew saw a production assistant in every way, stated quite precisely that Blake would enter with pages of notes for her role, as well as she wanted to do it for everyone else as well. Regulate the tone, tempo, and lighting. Essentially everything but the fact that the director is not her. And when the film ended, the work, her and Justin's relationship was so poisonous that she couldn't even act like she canceled since she was no longer professional. Promotional appearances that were fabricated, difficulties with schedules, and began laying the groundwork for her upcoming PR campaign, claiming that Justin is hard to work with.
Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Blake, let's take stock now. She misrepresented the timeline of her connection, used her children as leverage to remove disputes, and took over a film that she wasn't employed to lead at all, portraying herself as a victim of feminism who courageously opposes the system she is. The system's egocentric manipulation, meticulously planned nightmare that destroys professions and then pretends to be the victim when the backlash occurs. Believe me, we're merely warming up.